guys, welcome to Girls with Voices. My name is Rudolinda Mtsingwa, and today we're celebrating International Youth Day, and our theme is Green Skills for Youth Towards a Sustainable Future. So, what are green skills?
So I believe green skills from research I've been doing are skills, attitudes, and values that lead us into living and working in a sustainably conducive environment that's well aware of the ecological implications of each and every thing that we do, of each and every step of production.
Okay. So, when we talk of sustainability, I think it's a bit meta heavy for some people. What
Yeah.
exactly is sustainability, Chichi?
I think sustainability is something that is, I don't know, long lasting, something that you can use today and know that even in the future it's going to still work or it's going to be still relevant. No, I wanted to say sustainable, but
Reduce, reuse, recycle type of things. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So one of the reasons I think why maybe it's good for us to learn how to be productive in a sustainable way is so that we don't deplete future resources while trying to meet today's needs. I mean, especially as young people, imagine trying to.
What are you going to use in 2050 if we're going to finish
Imagine.
all the oil today?
But maybe sometimes in a Zimbabwean context, when you talk about green skills and sustainability, it's not exactly palatable or accessible to everyone, you know. So maybe you can try to talk about some of the green skills that people can learn, yeah, and how they can monetize them because we're trying to be productive and actually make money at the end of the day.
You know, the thing about green skills is, as you're saying, that it's often overcomplicated by these grand ideas that, oh, you need to stop air pollution, blah, blah, blah. But the things that we can do, you know, starting a recycling initiative within your community and taking whatever you'd have managed to recycle, be it PET bottles, be it cans, be it paper, and finding ways to use those things sustainably. Because I personally have heard of an initiative that's happening at Kwabalanda, khonapho ko Bulawayo, whereby someone is collecting papers from school. You know, when you write on a paper and you think you cannot reuse it again, and they like melt it down like using water and create a sort of like mush. And then when they dry that mush down, it creates like fake firewood.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was another innovative idea that someone young and talented within our community saw that there's obviously a need for firewood, but instead of deforestation, is there a way we can do it sustainably and in a way that's reducing waste?
And you know, there are also a lot of cases, like there's this other lady from Calgary. Apparently, she takes those yogurt bottles things. I don't know what's the exact name of the plastic because I know it's there. But then she takes them, she sells them, and she actually makes money from that. You know, the whole reuse, recycle kind of thing. I remember also there's another young person from Gobulawayo who also makes clothes, or rather maybe your shoes. She takes them, and maybe if the shoe is getting old, she changes the fabric. She can take any fabric, could be African attire, flora, whatever, and then she makes, you know, she reuses and she makes a whole new shoe out of it. She makes handbags out of old handbags. So I feel like that's one thing that's super cool. At the same time, we're actually making money because we notice that as young people all need those green skills to be able to survive.
People could be assuming the fact that it's not an economically sustainable venture to go green or adopt like a green industry and do that as your career. But there's crazy ways that people are making money out there. It just takes you maybe taking a risk or putting yourself out there and trying something new.
I think it's very important for us to have conversations about green skills and how we can learn them and how we can implement them every day, you know, in our lived reality, because it's not okay for us to think of them as something that's out of
That
reach.
the government is the
you
one
know,
who's supposed to be doing
yeah,
this.
like someone else will do it because ideally everything that we're supposed to be doing should be green. It should be eco-friendly. It should be sustainable.
That's the thing, that it honestly can apply in the most random ways, in ways that people don't think about. I remember when we were having a conversation the other day talking about the way we dispose of household waste. Like, do you separate your waste in a way whereby it makes it easier for people who recycle to recycle? It makes it easier for people who collect donations to collect them sustainably and in a way whereby they can easily give it out to the next person.
Because it's crazy. You'd literally find someone throwing in maybe plastic, leftover foods. We have maybe cardboard boxes, all in the same trash can. How do you? I feel like that's where we can talk about maybe going green, to say separating trash. That's something that you can do as a start.
Thatha izitshala ufake engadini, uthatha amaplastic ubapha abantu abacollecta amaplastic, uthatha impahla ezindala in good condition uzihambise ebantwini abaswelayo, then you take the other resources that cannot be used zihambise ebantwini who fix shoes and make the items new, like Chichi was saying.
So maybe there's need for there to be education about these things, like maybe we can learn it from school, even from primary school. We start teaching children about not necessarily green skills, but maybe we can start with the climate conversation, the climate change conversation. Also, this is happening, that's why you're supposed to do this. But I think even in a world where climate change didn't exist, it's important for us to use our resources in a sustainable manner to make sure whatever industry we are starting and driving is sustainable. Because there's something selfish about wanting to satisfy your needs today without thinking of tomorrow. It's also kind of foolish as well. Almost as if someone is just handing these resources to you, like Mother Nature is here and say, "Oh, you want more gold? Here's gold."
As if most of these minerals, especially non-renewables, did not take billions of years to
form.
And from like the track record we have as the human race, it seems like what took billions to form is being depleted in less than 1,000 of years, which is. It does not make sense.
So literally at some point, if we're like really people who are not cautious about what we do, we won't have gold or coal, all of those things.
We won't have water.
Exactly. Water, that's the thing. Because right now, talking about sustainability and being green, over 80% of the world is suffering from water instability, whereby they don't have a constant access to clean water, because water is like a luxury to us. Even though but we are much, much better than other places whereby it hasn't rained in years. And sometimes you'll be thinking about it that no, but it's not affecting me, but your actions are affecting people in other parts of the world that you may not necessarily be seeing in your everyday life, but you need to be conscious of.
Yeah, especially as young people who live in sub-Saharan Africa, where we're feeling most of the effects of climate change. And in Zimbabwe, we're living under the savanna climate. We don't really have that much rain. We naturally don't have that much green to go around. And sesenza ubuchapa on top of that, and
we're polluting our dams, we're polluting our rivers, yet we already have such a limited supply. So also, Casey, I feel like now also is part of the culture of us as a nation, whereby umuntu uziqhenya ngokuba umuntu eZimbabwe or Africa, you need to be able to take care of these resources that we are so lucky to have and appreciate them. Not ukuthi yonke into lilahlela kuma-river, lilahlela yonke indawo nje.
Yeah, I don't think as young people we can say, I want to be president, I want to be minister of environment and water, and then I'll write policies about this. I'll make sure young people learn about green skills. We have to do that right now. We have to work with what we have, and I don't think we can cry foul and say, oh, but we're young, we don't have much. All the innovations that we're enjoying today were started by someone. Young people too.
You see, I don't know if you guys know Greta Thunberg. I know this is a far example from us in Africa, but she was a young person and she would be ridiculed when she would take a boat from Europe to America because it's more sustainable. But I feel like I would respect that person more because
Exactly.
she lives what she's preaching. It's not like she's going to come and lobby for something, but then she's going to go home and throw papers out the window.
I think it's the same thing with how maybe, for example, I'm walking in town, I eat ice cream or a banana. The normal person, the person that you should be as a young person, you look for a bin and you throw that away. But then for you to actually throw trash on the streets, on the pavement, I mean, and then you want to be a future leader of tomorrow when you're not actually leading as an example today. That's kind of,
Yeah, like something is wrong
Makes
with you.
sense.
And I know like there's not much employment going around and not that many job opportunities. But learning about green skills and having green skills is a way for us to be entrepreneurs as well and
Yeah,
make
to
our
solve
own
those
money.
problems.
There's a group of young people in Makokoba who have a green nursery. When you buy umi, that dollar plastic, I think it's like a whole paper bag. Imagine how many trees of umi you can plant from that. And those trees go for like what, $10 each? Let's just assume that you only have 600 seeds. That's already 6,000. Or maybe someone may then make the excuse, I don't have land. Where am I going to plant them? Use your 2-liter bottles and
recycle
cut
them.
them in half, recycle them, plant your trees in there. It's not even that difficult.
And
These
don't
are the
need
simple
much.
things that we're talking about when we say green skills. It's what we can do. You can grow even 5 trees at home, really. Let's say Lobam Tauhlala in a shoebox house by your window. You can grow something in this cup. You can do something. I'm not saying we should all be farmers, but we can all
But-
do something.
No, because also another thing I was thinking about, you did mention before that we can start, by teaching people about sustainability from a young age. But I also feel like we need to also be putting pressure in different institutions of like vocational work or higher learning, whereby each and every career needs to have at least one module that teaches you how to practice your career sustainably. So that even if you are learning electrical engineering, how can that be practiced in a sustainable way? How can you be a lawyer who is well informed about sustainability and climate justice and is able to advocate and practice that field effectively?
Talking about trees, there's this other lady from Bellevue. So what happened is at her house they have grapes, right? So when she wanted to get a driver's license, she went to her father and he told her that take the grapes in the garden, go sell them, and you're going to get your money from there. And she literally sold them and she got a driver's license. And like currently she's getting her master's and she's like they have a garden at her house. They grow your broccoli, your cabbages, whatever, whatever. And she sells that and she gets money from it and she is able to actually pay for it, education. So I think you don't need much honesty. You can just work with what you have at home and
And
get money from
you can
it.
always start small,
Yeah.
not everything has to start off as a success story, it has to start off as something wildly remarkable. You can always start small and see where it can take.
I've even seen some young people from Makokova. I think I've been using a lot. No, but it's one of the communities that people look down upon here in
There's so
Bulawayo,
much innovation
Zimbabwe.
and
For
talent.
those who are watching from abroad, in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, we have one of our oldest townships, Makokoba, and it's so poverty stricken. So what they do is they pick up old peanut butter bottles, old wires, and they make toy cars. And they're so cool and so nice, and they sell them.
And they're so wildly intricate because when you say toy cars, right, you remember I would
Imotas
now
amawaya.
it's literally whatever car you can imagine. I remember it would be flashing, it would be spinning, it's like the whole works, and I was like, wow.
It's your chance to own a Range Rover or to sell some Range Rovers. So anyone can do this. Anyone can start small. If you're a young person and you're in Zimbabwe or anywhere in the world and you want to learn about green skills, just think to yourself, what can I do in a sustainable way that is environmentally friendly, that is not even resource extensive, and you can do it. It's one of the most basic things. But I don't know what happens when it comes to the implementing part. Is it difficult for us to implement this in our communities? Do our governments make it difficult for us to implement this? Where exactly is the problem?
I feel like sometimes, generally, as people, we can choose to be ignorant because there's also the whole thing about how people don't believe there's actually climate change because angazi akukafiki kibo or bakubona bayenzanga nababona or something like that. But just people generally choose to be ignorant and choose to think, okay, it doesn't affect us. Maybe there's a first world country problems and things like that when they don't realize that actually their actions impact our environment by one way or another.
Yeah, for me, I believe that sometimes it could be because of the fact that most people in third world countries, we don't have the luxury, to fail or to make mistakes. Like if I go and start something sustainable, and I'm like, I'm putting all my eggs into this because I truly believe in this. But if the economy is not conducive and I fail, now I've spent maybe $1,000 worth of investment into this. But I also feel like it's also part of like the culture that we reinforce whereby failing is also something we're not willing to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a problem with Rudo sitting in Ziligazi and thinking, I want to go green and have green skills, and then saying, I need $10,000, I'll apply for a loan. What is supposed to happen is for Rudo to look around her and say, okay, what can I do? Did you know that these jackets that we're making are actually made from fabric that is made from PET bottles? And these are exported from Zimbabwe. So people pick these up, they go to South Africa, and then they're shipped off to China. And then we have to buy them from China. Where did you buy your jacket, Riley?
Why are you asking me?
Where did you buy your jacket?
On AliExpress, okay, from China.
You see? But these are things that we have in our community. Fair and fine.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't make the fabric and everything else, but you can pick those things.
Yeah. And also can you see lapho ukuthi umuntu yabe le mindset yokuthi abantu bazathi nxa sebembona ngephandle khona phana.
Oh yes.
Can you see, and partly the person is to blame, but also the society whereby we are not allowing people to be hustlers in their raw form because we're quick to judge, and also us being so quick to take people's opinions to heart, yet you have something you believe in that could potentially take care of you and your family, and you're not going to pursue it because you're afraid of what people will say. So one, stop judging. Two, just don't care what people say about you. Like,
okay. So what are our parting shots?
take care of the earth, one, and it could honestly start from as anything as even as small as me. So whatever you can that you believe is one working towards a sustainable career, a sustainable future, go for it and see where it takes you.
I can only say with you, let's go green. I think green is the way.
Remember when I'm Popeye when I was young and they would end the episode by saying reduce,
recycle. Green skills for youth for a sustainable world. Bye.
Bye.